Welcome to another calm journey through the world of Pokémon. Tonight we'll explore the legend of Zapdos, the guardian of thunder and storm, whose cry echoes through dark clouds. From its earliest sightings above Kanto's power plant to its modern appearances across Galar, we'll follow the full history of this electric legend. The story will move softly, like lightning seen from afar. Welcome to Sleepy Pokémon, where nostalgic adventures guide you into deep, peaceful rest. Chapter 1: The Call of Thunder. Long before Zapdos was ever seen by researchers or captured on film, the people of Kanto spoke of thunder that carried a voice. When lightning split the clouds and thunder rolled across the valleys, they said it was the cry of a great bird soaring above the storm. That bird was Zapdos, the legendary Pokémon of thunder, power, and motion. In the earliest Pokédex records, Zapdos is described as a being of living electricity. Its wings are said to sparkle with thousands of volts, and every flap can summon lightning from the clouds themselves. It does not simply live in storms, it creates them. When clouds gather and the wind begins to shift, the stories say that Zapdos is charging the air, drawing strength from the energy around it. For ancient travelers, the flash of lightning across the horizon was not fearsome. It was a sign that the storm's guardian had arrived to restore balance. Unlike Articuno or Moltres, Zapdos embodies constant movement. It is the pulse that awakens nature from stillness. When it soars through the sky, thunder follows, echoing its rhythm like a drumbeat across the land. In early Kanto mythology, its appearance was thought to mark great change. A reminder that no matter how calm life may seem, energy is always building just beyond the clouds. That idea remains at the heart of Zapdos's legend. It is the Pokémon that reminds the world to move forward, to evolve, to grow. Visually, the earliest depictions of Zapdos in League archives and regional art show it surrounded by lightning, its sharp feathers shaped like jagged bolts. The artists who painted it never tried to capture stillness. Every image shows motion, the wings tilted forward, lightning striking behind it, clouds spinning in its wake. Even in silence, Zapdos feels alive. The anime captured that same presence in its earliest appearances. The lighting always shifts before it arrives. Shadows lengthen, and the air hums faintly, as though the world itself is preparing to greet something powerful. The Thunderbird does not descend quietly. Its cry cuts through wind and rain, not with rage but with command, a declaration that the storm now belongs to it. To see Zapdos is to feel the pulse of nature itself. Its power cannot be contained, yet it never seems reckless. It is wild, but purposeful. The lightning it summons is not destruction but renewal. Each strike charges the world, restoring energy to skies that have grown still. The presence of Zapdos means the sky is alive again. In the stories told by trainers and explorers, Zapdos appears only when balance requires motion, when calmness risks turning into stagnation. Its thunder clears the air, its rain nourishes the ground, and its lightning rekindles the heartbeat of the world. So begins the story of Zapdos, the first spark of movement in the endless cycle of wind and flame, the bird whose flight awakens the storm. From this moment forward, the Thunderbird's call would echo through every age of Pokémon, a symbol of energy, freedom, and the eternal rhythm of life itself. Chapter 2: The Elemental Trio. In the mythology of Kanto, three great birds govern the balance of the natural world. Articuno, the guardian of ice, brings calm and stillness. Moltres, the guardian of fire, brings warmth and renewal. And between them flies Zapdos, the guardian of thunder and storm, the bridge between cold and flame. Together they are known as the legendary birds, elemental spirits that maintain harmony through the sky. The earliest records speak of these three as forces, not individuals. When one grows too strong, imbalance follows. The freezing air of Articuno stills the clouds until nothing moves. The heat of Moltres stirs the land into drought. And so Zapdos is the rhythm between them, the movement that keeps the world breathing. It breaks stillness with thunder, releases heat with rain, and charges the air with new life. Where Articuno preserves and Moltres restores, Zapdos awakens. The anime and later films would bring this legend to life with vivid clarity. The world is not meant to exist in silence or flame alone. It needs motion, energy that connects one state to another. Zapdos embodies that motion. When it flies, the sky changes. Clouds form in its wake, lightning ignites from its wings, and rain begins to fall. This movement between elements defines its role within the trio. It is not just the storm's center, it is the pulse that ties nature together. In many ancient drawings and carvings, the three birds are shown in a perfect circle. Articuno's wings arc in cool shades of blue, Moltres' flame curls in red and gold, and Zapdos' lightning cuts through the middle in bright yellow lines. The circle represents harmony, a cycle without beginning or end. Where one force fades, another begins. Zapdos' position within that circle reflects its nature, never still, always moving, forever ensuring that life continues to flow. Later, in both the anime and Pokémon the Movie 2000, this dynamic becomes central. The absence of one bird disturbs all others, creating storms and imbalance. When Zapdos rises in defiance, it is not cruelty but instinct. Its energy fills the void left behind, ensuring that the pattern of weather continues. That misunderstanding between the three leads to chaos, but also reveals the truth that all are bound together by purpose. The contrast between the three birds also mirrors the journeys of trainers themselves. Articuno represents serenity and patience. Moltres symbolizes passion and renewal. And Zapdos stands for determination, the will to act, to move forward, to face change. Together they embody the qualities every traveler must find within themselves to achieve balance. In the end, the trio's legend reminds us that harmony is not silence. True balance requires movement, wind, fire, and thunder coexisting in rhythm. Zapdos' storm ensures that nature never grows stagnant. Its lightning divides the clouds, its thunder clears the air, and its energy binds the world into motion. Whenever storms gather and distant lightning flashes across the night sky, the people of Kanto still remember the story of these three elemental guardians. Somewhere within those clouds, their wings still move in perfect unison, a dance of balance with Zapdos at its heart, guiding the rhythm of the world. Chapter 3: The Power Plant Guardian. The first direct encounter with Zapdos in the Pokémon anime connects it to a place already charged with mystery, the Kanto Power Plant. Long abandoned by people, this industrial structure sits beside the water, its metal frame echoing with the hum of leftover electricity. Deep inside, Magneton, Voltorb, and Electabuzz have made their home, drawn to the leftover energy that still pulses through the walls. It is here that Zapdos appears, a living generator reclaiming the current of the world. In this story, Ash and his friends arrive near the power plant during a violent thunderstorm. The air crackles with static before they even step inside. Every light flickers, Every puddle trembles with tiny bursts of electricity. And then, in one flash of lightning, Zapdos appears. Wings wide, body glowing gold against the black sky. Its cry rings out like a thunderclap, powerful and sharp. It is not there to frighten or to destroy, but to restore what has been lost. The energy of the power plant has begun to fade, and Zapdos, instinctively drawn to imbalance, reclaims it. When it strikes the generator with its talons, the entire structure lights up at once. Sparks leap through the walls, bulbs flare to life, and machines long silent awaken again. The storm outside grows in intensity, not in rage but in renewal, as if the world itself is being recharged. Team Rocket, as always, misreads the moment. Believing they can harness Zapdos's power, they deploy traps and nets, only to have them melt in the current. The lightning burns bright and fast, leaving them unharmed but dazed. When the storm calms, they can only stare in silence at the bird above them. The message is clear: some forces cannot be captured. As quickly as it appeared, Zapdos takes to the air once more. The storm begins to clear, and the first hints of sunlight return. The air smells of rain and metal, and for a moment the world seems still. Yet deep within that stillness lies something renewed. The power plant hums again. The magnetons swirl together, charged and alive. Nature's balance, disrupted by neglect, has been quietly restored. This encounter established an enduring truth about Zapdos, that its power, though wild, serves a purpose. It is the bringer of motion, the awakener of dormant energy. Its lightning does not simply destroy, it rekindles. In the aftermath of its flight, the world breathes differently, more alive, more awake. The scene ends without words from Zapdos, only the distant echo of thunder fading into the horizon. Yet that sound lingers in the hearts of those who hear it. It reminds trainers and viewers alike that energy, once forgotten, can always return. Sometimes all it takes is a spark, one sudden flash to remind the world that power still lives within it. Chapter 4: The Power of One. Zapdos's most dramatic and defining appearance came in Pokémon the Movie 2000, The Power of One. This story placed the Thunderbird at the center of an elemental struggle that threatened the entire planet, a conflict born not of malice but of imbalance. It is in this film that the mythology of Zapdos, Articuno, and Moltres is brought vividly to life. The story begins when the collector Lawrence captures Moltres on Fire Island, shattering the balance between fire, ice, and lightning. Across the Orange Islands, the skies darken. The temperature drops. The wind becomes erratic. The absence of fire draws Zapdos out of its domain, sensing that the natural order has been disturbed. It descends upon Fire Island in a storm of golden light, lightning flashing around its wings. For Zapdos, this is not a conquest, but instinct, the need to restore motion where stillness has overtaken the sky. Its arrival brings both beauty and danger. Thunder cracks like cannon fire. Waves surge along the coast. The sky glows in shades of violet and gold, as Zapdos claims the island as its own. Ash and his friends, observing from a nearby airship, watch as Zapdos lands on the sacred shrine, its body radiating electric arcs that leap between the trees. It does not see them as enemies. It sees imbalance, and it acts. Soon, Articuno arrives to defend its frozen domain, and the two clash in one of the most breathtaking battles in Pokémon history. Ice collides with lightning, forming pillars of steam that twist into the storm clouds above. Every strike lights the world for an instant, before plunging it back into shadow. Their battle is fierce but purposeful, neither cruel nor hateful, but driven by nature's rhythm gone astray. The conflict deepens when Lawrence captures Zapdos as well, trapping it beside Moltres and Articuno within his collection sphere. The capture of all three throws the planet into chaos. Storms rage, oceans rise, and even distant regions feel the pulse of imbalance. The world itself seems to shatter under the weight of stillness without fire and motion without balance. Only with the help of Ash, Lugia, and the people of Shamuti is harmony restored. As the Chosen One places the elemental orbs upon their shrines, the three birds are freed. Zapdos soars once more into the open sky, lightning trailing from its wings. In the film's quietest and most powerful moment, Lugia's song fills the air, calming the storm. The thunder fades to silence, and Zapdos, now at peace, circles above as the clouds part. Its light flickers gently before vanishing into the distance. This moment defined Zapdos for generations of viewers. It was not the villain of the storm, nor the hero of fire and ice, but the force that represents the need for balance between them. In its lightning we see both destruction and renewal, the reminder that even chaos has purpose. As the movie closes, the narrator's voice recalls the legend that when the powers of fire, ice, and lightning fall into conflict, the guardian of the sea will rise to restore peace. Yet it is the thunderbird's cry that lingers in memory, echoing faintly in the distance as if promising that the world, though shaken, will always find its rhythm again. Chapter 5: Lightning and Legend. After the storm of the power of one, Zapdos returned to legend, a symbol of lightning, movement, and independence. In the years that followed, the anime and Pokédex continued to describe it as a living storm. The entries across different regions speak with reverence, each one calling Zapdos the Master of Thunder. When it appears, lightning never ceases. When it departs, the sky clears. It is the spark that both stirs and settles the heavens. In the lore of Kanto, Zapdos was never seen as a creature of destruction. Its lightning strikes may split trees and shake the ground, but its role within nature is restorative. Storms bring water. Thunder opens the skies. Lightning renews the earth. The idea that Zapdos rides these storms not as a threat, but as their conductor, shaped how future generations would view it. It is chaos with purpose, wildness and harmony. In early anime depictions, Zapdos is often surrounded by radiant clouds rather than darkness. Its feathers glint gold and white as light bursts around it. Unlike many legendary Pokémon, it rarely acts out of anger. It moves because the world requires motion. If Moltres represents warmth and Articuno represents calm, then Zapdos is the living pulse, the rhythm that ensures life never stands still. The sound of thunder itself became its signature. Each cry of Zapdos echoes through the storm as a chord that blends with lightning's crack. Artists in later generations captured this connection by painting its wings as jagged streaks, each feather shaped like a bolt frozen in time. Even when standing still, its form looks ready to move, as though energy itself has taken shape and is waiting to fly. Trainers who claim to have seen Zapdos often describe a sudden stillness before its arrival, the air holding its breath, the clouds gathering without warning. Then, a single flash, bright enough to light the world for one instant. When their vision clears, the bird is gone. Only the echo of thunder remains. This fleeting encounter defines its legend, powerful, untamable, yet strangely peaceful. Zapdos also came to symbolize freedom. It is one of the few legendary Pokémon said to avoid all human contact. It obeys no territory, serves no guardian, and accepts no boundaries. Its path is its own, crossing oceans and mountains without pause. For this reason, it has often been called the Herald of Change, a creature whose presence marks the turning of the seasons and the shifting of fate. Each retelling of its story adds to its mystique. The world may calm, the skies may clear, but the people of Kanto always know the storm will return, not as punishment but as renewal. The cry of Zapdos in the distance means that nature is still alive, that energy still flows, and that balance still holds. It is the thunder that wakes the sleeping world, reminding all who hear it that every calm sky needs its lightning, and every still heart needs its spark. Chapter 6. Echoes through Johto. As the Pokémon world expanded into the Johto region, Zapdos appeared less often in the foreground, yet its presence was never forgotten. The Stormbird had already left its mark on Kanto, and its influence now echoed softly through the new generation's stories and scenery. Its image appeared in opening montages and trainer retellings, reminders that the balance between the elemental birds still guided the natural world. Johto was a region of legends, home to Ho-Oh and Lugia, each symbolizing harmony and rebirth. Yet even within this mythology, references to thunder still carried the voice of Zapdos. Travelers spoke of lightning storms crossing from the sea into the mountains, storms so sudden and pure that they seemed alive. Some said it was Lugia guiding the rain. Others believed it was Zapdos passing overhead, renewing the connection between the regions. In the anime, brief glimpses of Zapdos flickered across transitions between episodes and openings. Sometimes it appeared as a flash of wings in the distance, other times as a silhouette behind rolling clouds. These moments lasted only seconds, but they were enough to remind viewers that the legends of Kanto still watched over the evolving world. The storms of Johto were different, gentler perhaps, yet their energy still carried a familiar rhythm, the pulse of thunder that marks Zapdos's flight. During this era, stories within the Pokémon world began to treat the legendary birds as global forces rather than isolated beings. Trainers would reference sightings far beyond Kanto, suggesting that Zapdos, Articuno, and Moltres were migratory, traveling wherever balance was needed. The idea reinforced a sense of unity between regions. Nature, after all, knew no borders. Lightning and wind could reach anywhere. In quieter ways, Zapdos also became a metaphor during this period. The Johto seasons, known for their calm transitions, reflected what happens when storm and stillness work together. Just as Articuno's chill can rest the land and Moltres' flame can revive it, Zapdos' storms can awaken it from quiet. The harmony between those forces became a lesson woven into the series' narration, that power and peace are not opposites, but companions. Even in its absence, Zapdos remained a steady part of the world's imagination. Its cry could still be heard in the distance of the Johto night, carried by thunder over the hills. For the trainers and travelers of that age, the Stormbird's voice was not one of fear, but of connection, a reminder that every region, no matter how far apart, shares the same sky. And so, through Johto's peaceful valleys and silver mountains, Zapdos remained unseen, but never gone. It continued its eternal flight across the horizon, bridging worlds and generations alike, the spark that linked the old to the new, reminding all who watch the skies that lightning never truly fades. Chapter 7. The Mirage of Thunder. By the time the special The Mastermind of Mirage Pokémon aired, Zapdos had already become an icon, a symbol of raw natural energy. But in this unique story, that energy took on a new form. The episode blended science and mythology, presenting a vision of what happens when technology tries to recreate legend. Through a holographic system designed to simulate any Pokémon, Zapdos was reborn as a mirage, an artificial echo of lightning's power. The setting of the story feels quiet at first, filled with the sterile glow of computer screens and cold light. Yet the moment the Mirage Zapdos appears, the atmosphere changes. Lightning fills the sky once again, and the sound of thunder rolls across the digital landscape. Its movements, though artificial, mirror those of the real Zapdos. Wings flaring, energy surging outward, and electricity flashing with almost natural rhythm. Even though it is a creation of code, its presence feels genuine, as though the spirit of the real Thunderbird could not help but inhabit the image made in its likeness. The battle that follows is as spectacular as it is symbolic. Trainers face not the living storm itself, but their own reflection of it, a reminder that humanity's fascination with power always returns to nature. The Mirage Pokémon are unpredictable, capable of feats that challenge the limits of understanding, and Zapdos among them radiates strength without restraint. When it spreads its wings, the holographic world flickers with static. It is both creation and chaos, a perfect illusion of the real. Yet even in this artificial form, the lesson of Zapdos remains the same. Power cannot truly be replicated. It can be studied, simulated, or borrowed, but never owned. The mirage fades when the system collapses, the thunder dissolving into silence. In that silence, the viewer is reminded that Zapdos's true nature lies not in control, but in freedom. The storm cannot be confined, not by walls, not by circuits, not even by imagination. This story added a new layer to the legend. It showed that even centuries into the future, when science can bend light and energy into illusion, the essence of the natural world still surpasses everything humans can build. The Mirage Zapdos may have been an invention, but its roar and brilliance were enough to remind the world of what remains real, the living pulse of lightning, untamed and eternal. When the special ends, the storm recedes, and the faint glow of sunrise returns. The artificial sky clears, leaving behind only the quiet hum of electricity. For a brief moment, the lines between myth and technology blur, and what's left is the same truth that has followed Zapdos since Kanto's first storm. That energy is not meant to be possessed, only witnessed. The thunder fades, the screen goes still, and the legend of Zapdos continues, real once more, and forever beyond imitation. Chapter 8. A Sinnoh Sight. As Ash's travels carried him north into the Sinnoh region, the world of Pokémon began to feel larger, older, and more connected than ever before. The land of Sinnoh was steeped in legend, a region where time and space themselves were said to have form. Yet even in a world of new myths and deities, the ancient guardians of Kanto still found their place among the skies. For the first time in years, Zapdos reappeared across anime openings, artwork, and quiet cameos. A distant flash of lightning bridging generations of legend. Sinnoh's vast mountain ranges and ever-changing weather made the perfect canvas for Zapdos's return. Viewers often glimpsed it soaring across a horizon of storm clouds, golden light glinting from its wings. Its appearance was subtle but meaningful, a reminder that even in a world of new discoveries, nature's oldest forces still moved freely above. The Pokédex entries for this era renewed Zapdos's description as the source of all thunder in the skies. It was said that when it beats its wings, lightning arcs between the clouds, charging the air for miles. Trainers in Sinnoh, who encountered great storms, sometimes believed it to be a sign that Zapdos had passed overhead. Reports spoke of flickering power lines and magnetic fields shifting for moments before calming again. These stories carried the same quiet reverence as those told in Kanto, that lightning, though fierce, always leaves the world refreshed. The art direction of the Sinnoh era often showed Zapdos in motion across paintings and game-inspired visuals. Its feathers gleamed against gray clouds, the jagged shapes of its body perfectly reflecting the energy of a storm. Even without speaking a word, its silhouette evoked sound, the low rumble that follows every flash. In many ways, this portrayal marked the maturation of the series' relationship with its legendary creatures. Zapdos was no longer treated as a mystery to chase but as a part of the living world, a guardian that exists whether seen or unseen. During these years, the anime's tone had grown calmer and more reflective, and Zapdos's role matched that change. Its cameos became less about confrontation and more about atmosphere. When it appeared, it was as if the world paused for a moment to remember its rhythm, the steady pulse of thunder that unites every region under one sky. Sinnoh's legends often centered around cycles and balance, themes that echo directly with the myth of the three legendary birds. The brief flashes of Zapdos within these stories reminded the audience that while time and space may govern the universe, it is energy, the heartbeat of storm and lightning, that keeps everything alive. And so, as the clouds drifted across the Sinnoh peaks and storms rolled through its valleys, Zapdos's presence lingered like an old memory. A flicker of light, a crack of thunder, and a reminder that no matter how much the world evolves, the same electricity that began in Kanto still hums quietly through every sky. Chapter 9: Kalos Encounter. A legendary photo op. When the story moved to the Kalos region, a place known for its elegance and light, Zapdos returned with a striking presence. Its appearance came during a powerful thunderstorm, an episode that reminded viewers that even the most graceful lands still depend on the rhythm of nature. The moment was quiet at first, then charged with energy. Lightning flashed, rain poured across the glass windows of a Pokémon Center, and with each strike, the horizon glowed a deep golden hue. Within that light, Zapdos appeared. The scene unfolded with cinematic simplicity. Ash and his friends, sheltering from the storm, stepped outside as the thunder grew louder. The camera panned across the sky, showing clouds that pulsed with electricity. Then, with a single burst of light, Zapdos emerged, its wings jagged and brilliant, feathers tipped with glowing sparks. It circled once above the valley, illuminating the landscape below like a bolt frozen in motion. This Zapdos was not a creature of rage. It did not attack or flee. It moved with calm precision, every beat of its wings releasing a ripple of static that danced across the ground. The sound design in this episode captured the feeling of true thunder, not violent, but steady, deep, and resonant. Even the rain seemed to soften in its presence, as if pausing in respect. Ash's Noibot, still young and unsure, stared up at the bird in awe. The moment stretched into stillness, a small Pokémon watching a legend it could barely comprehend. Inspired by that sight, Noibat took flight into the storm, wings trembling but determined. When it reached Zapdos, lightning flashed again, surrounding both of them in blinding light. When the glow faded, Noibat had evolved into Noivern. Its courage, sparked by that single moment of wonder, had awakened its own strength. Zapdos watched silently, its eyes calm. Then it turned, spread its wings, and released one final cry, a sharp, echoing note that seemed to shake the clouds apart. The thunder rolled outward, the rain slowed, and sunlight began to pierce through the sky. In that instant, the storm was over. Zapdos vanished into the light it created, leaving the valley warm and calm once more. The encounter in Kalos carried no battle, no capture, and no prize. Instead, it offered something gentler, a meeting between inspiration and potential. For Ash, it was another reminder that true strength often comes from awe, not conflict. For the viewers, it was a perfect expression of Zapdos' spirit. Powerful but peaceful, storm and serenity joined in one body. As the group watched the clearing sky, the air still hummed faintly, as though holding on to the last traces of electricity. The Thunderbird had passed, but its presence lingered in the warmth of the sunlight and in the confidence that had awakened within Noivern's heart. And somewhere above the clouds, Zapdos continued to fly, free as the wind, leaving behind only the echo of thunder and the quiet proof that courage is born in the light of inspiration. Chapter 10: Power and Presence. Throughout every era of its history, Zapdos has remained one of the purest expressions of energy in motion. Where Articuno embodies stillness and Moltres radiates warmth, Zapdos is the living pulse of the world, a reminder that nothing in nature stays still for long. Its very existence represents freedom, change, and the courage to move forward. Whenever Zapdos appears, the world reacts. The air thickens with static. The wind begins to turn. Trees sway, and clouds spiral into shape. The anime always slows its pacing in these moments, allowing viewers to feel the power before seeing it. The first flash of lightning is rarely accompanied by thunder. Instead, there is silence, a breath, a pause, and then the sound rolls across the land like a heartbeat. That rhythm defines Zapdos' essence, unpredictable yet consistent, wild yet precise. Unlike other legendary Pokémon that dwell in solitude or protect hidden realms, Zapdos is a creature of transition. It belongs to no single place. One day it may be seen above the mountains of Kanto, the next beyond the sea in Kalos. Some stories even suggest it crosses entire continents, riding the flow of atmospheric current. The storm is its home, and wherever there is lightning, it finds belonging. Trainers and researchers across generations have described similar experiences upon witnessing Zapdos. A sudden quiet before the flash. A feeling of the air vibrating with invisible current. And then the light itself too bright to look at directly, followed by a burst of thunder that seems to shake the soul rather than the ground. Those who have seen it never forget the sensation. It is not fear they describe, but awe, the awareness that they have stood close to something beyond control, yet entirely in balance with nature. The design of Zapdos reflects that same harmony. Its wings are sharp, almost angular, shaped like lightning frozen in form. Each feather catches light differently, turning storms into living art. When it flies, arcs of electricity leap between the tips of its wings, illuminating the clouds behind it. For a moment, the whole sky becomes its canvas, painted in light and shadow. Its symbolism within the Pokémon world goes beyond its power. Zapdos is movement, the unstoppable current that connects all things. Just as rivers carve paths through mountains, and wind shapes the desert, lightning too transforms what it touches. The difference is that Zapdos brings that transformation not through destruction, but through renewal. Its storms awaken the world, urging it to move, to change, to grow. Every story that features Zapdos, no matter how small, carries that same message. When life grows quiet, when energy fades, the Thunderbird returns to remind the world to stay alive, to move forward, to rise again. Its cry is a promise that the sky will never stay silent for long, that even in stillness, motion waits just beyond the horizon. In every flash of lightning, every rumble of thunder, the spirit of Zapdos continues to live. It is the voice of motion, the heart of the storm, and the endless rhythm that powers the sky. Chapter 11. Journeys. A Trial of Lightning. In the modern era of Pokémon journeys, Zapdos returned with a rare and powerful presence. The world had changed, technology advanced, new regions connected, yet the legends of Kanto continued to move freely above it all. When a series of electrical surges struck Vermilion City, researchers traced the source to the power plant on the outskirts of town, where energy readings pulsed like the rhythm of thunder. And in the midst of that storm, Zapdos appeared once more. The episode begins quietly, with dark clouds gathering over the ocean. The hum of the city fades into the sound of wind and distant thunder. Ash and Go, now working together as partners in exploration, set out to investigate. Inside the power plant, lights flicker. Sparks dance along the metal walls. Then a single powerful cry splits the air, a familiar call that shakes both sky and sea. Zapdos descends from the clouds, its wings trailing arcs of yellow lightning that illuminate the world below. The moment is treated with reverence rather than fear. The characters do not speak for several seconds, the silence broken only by the sound of thunder rolling outward. Zapdos lands at the top of the power plant, surrounded by flickering towers of light. For Go Duff, it is the fulfillment of a lifelong dream to stand before a true legendary Pokémon. But the Thunderbird is not there to be captured. It has come to feed on the energy that radiates from the facility, drawn to the charge that mirrors its own heartbeat. Go challenges Zapdos in a battle that feels less like combat and more like a test. His Pokémon give everything they have, their attacks striking through sheets of rain and crackling static. Each move is met by a surge of thunder, each effort answered with power that feels limitless. Yet even as Zapdos overpowers them, there is a strange gentleness to its strikes. It never aims to harm, only to push them to their limit. At last, Go throws a Pokéball. For a single heartbeat, it clicks, and Zapdos is caught. The world goes silent. Rain slows, wind stops, and for that one instant, the storm belongs to him. But then the Pokéball opens, and Zapdos re-emerges, its wings spreading wide. A burst of light radiates outward, followed by a long echoing cry. It looks at Go, not as an enemy, but as an equal, one who dared to try, one who understood. The Thunderbird then takes flight, disappearing into the clouds as the rain clears. When the sky finally brightens, Goe smiles, not in defeat, but in gratitude. He knows the attempt was never about ownership. It was about connection, a moment of recognition between mortal and legend, between human will and nature's power. Zapdos had tested his resolve and found it worthy. The episode closes with a view of the horizon. Lightning still flickers faintly behind the retreating clouds, the energy of the encounter lingering in the air. Go's journal notes record it not as a failed capture, but as a meeting of spirits. And in that calm after the storm, the legacy of Zapdos continues, not as a creature to be caught, but as a force that inspires. To this day, that episode stands as one of the most beautiful depictions of what it means to meet a legendary Pokémon. The message is quiet but unmistakable. Power does not exist to be claimed. It exists to awaken strength within those who seek it. Chapter 12. Bonds of Storm and Sky. As Pokémon journeys continued, the world once again saw the three elemental guardians reunited. Articuno, Moltres, and Zapdos, each soaring across their own domain, returned to remind the world that nature is never ruled by one force alone. Though their appearances were brief and scattered across distant regions, the sense of unity between them remained unmistakable. For the first time in years, the balance of ice, fire, and thunder was seen again in motion. In the modern era of the anime, these reappearances were presented with quiet reverence. No longer portrayed as rivals locked in endless conflict, the birds were shown as companions in balance. Articuno's cold winds moved like calm breath. Moltres' flames flickered with renewal, and Zapdos' lightning connected them both through rhythm and sound. Each represented a different part of the same heartbeat, the continual rise and fall of the natural world. These moments were often woven into montages and world-traveling scenes, showing flashes of each bird over open landscapes. Moltres streaked across volcanic skies. Articuno glided through misted peaks. And Zapdos, always the mover, crossed through cloud and storm, lightning flashing behind its silhouette. Together, they formed a rhythm that pulsed across regions, a living reminder that the elements still dance in harmony. Viewers who had grown up with the power of one felt a sense of completion in seeing them again. The cycle that once broke apart now appeared healed. The elemental storm of the second film had taught the world what imbalance could do, and Journeys quietly showed the peace that comes after. The three birds no longer fought for dominance. They simply existed, each maintaining their role, each trusting the other to do the same. Zapdos' presence in these scenes carried the tone of movement, the steady current that keeps everything alive. Its thunder never dominates the sky, but hums beneath it, blending with the wind and flame around it. In that subtlety lies its meaning. Balance is not stillness but motion in harmony. Every storm has its rhythm, every gust its reply, and Zapdos is the pulse that connects them all. Across regions, the message became clear. The legendary birds are not just symbols of elemental power. They are expressions of how nature corrects itself. When the world falls out of rhythm, they return to restore it. Their reappearance in Journeys served as a gentle reminder that the forces of ice, fire, and lightning remain inseparable. As the skies cleared and sunlight filtered through the clouds, the image of the three birds lingered in viewers' minds, not as mythic rivals, but as companions in balance. The stormbird, the flamebird, and the frostbird moved together once more, their wings drawing invisible patterns across the world's horizon. In that calm unity, Zapdos' role as the pulse of nature was fulfilled once again. Its thunder rolled softly through the clouds, connecting the flight of its companions like the steady beat of a heart. The bonds of storm and sky endured, quiet, vast, and eternal. Chapter 13: The Galarian Thunder. In the far region of Galar, where ancient myths breathe through every stone and field, a new form of Zapdos emerged. Known as the Galarian Zapdos, this version of the Thunderbird was unlike any seen before, a creature of grounded power, fierce motion, and the same wild energy expressed in a different form. It appeared first in Pokémon Twilight Wings, the Gathering of Stars, and later within the Crown Tundra expansion of the games, representing evolution not just of form but of spirit. Where the Zapdos of Kanto soared through the clouds, the Zapdos of Galar ran across the earth. Its wings had shortened, more suited for balance than flight, while its legs had grown powerful and swift. When it moved, the air rippled behind it as though struck by thunder. Each stride created shockwaves strong enough to shake the plains. The Galarian Zapdos was still the embodiment of energy, not lightning through sky, but lightning through muscle. It was thunder made flesh, speed turned into power. In this form, its type changed to fighting and flying, symbolizing strength, endurance, and motion in a new way. It lived among the rolling tundra and rocky cliffs, often seen sprinting up mountainsides or chasing gusts of wind across open fields. Travelers described it as a bolt of orange light racing along the horizon, fast, silent, and unstoppable. Unlike its Cantonian counterpart, it did not summon storms. Instead, it became one. The people of Galar told new stories to accompany its arrival. Some claimed that when the land had grown weary and cold, Zapdos descended from the clouds to walk among the mountains, bringing heat through motion and life through strength. Others believed it was the same bird as before, changed by time and region, proof that even legendary forces must adapt to the world's evolution. In Twilight Wings, its appearance was brief but unforgettable. When the camera followed the wind-swept cliffs of Galar, Zapdos darted through the landscape with incredible speed, every step leaving ripples in the grass. The imagery was peaceful yet full of energy, a living current flowing through still air. It felt like seeing lightning grounded to the earth, still free, still wild, but in a quieter way. This reinterpretation of Zapdos brought its legend full circle. Just as Articuno and Moltres gained Galarian forms that reimagined their powers, Zapdos too showed that energy changes shape but never fades. It no longer commanded thunder from above, yet its presence carried the same message: motion sustains life, strength comes from persistence, and power takes many forms. Whether soaring in the storms of Kanto or running across the plains of Galar, Zapdos has always represented movement. The Galarian form only deepened that meaning. It taught that even when form changes, the essence remains: freedom, energy, and the will to keep going. As the winds sweep across Galar's vast tundra, the faint sound of thunder can still be heard echoing between the cliffs. It is not from the clouds this time, but from the earth itself, the steady rhythm of the Galarian Zapdos, running endlessly beneath the same sky that once carried its golden wings. Chapter 14: The Eternal Storm. Across every era and every sky, the story of Zapdos has remained the same, the tale of motion, energy, and renewal. From the thunderclouds above Kanto to the wind-swept fields of Galar, it has never stopped moving. The stormbird does not rest or fade. It continues, forever circling the world in patterns of lightning and silence. Where rain falls and thunder rolls, Zapdos is near. Through the decades of Pokémon history, it has appeared in many forms: wild, peaceful, radiant, grounded, but its essence never changes. It is freedom given shape. It is courage made visible. It is the natural rhythm that connects every living thing to the pulse of the world. Its lightning is not destruction but breath, recharging what time has worn down. Every strike brings renewal, and every echo of thunder reminds the world that balance still endures. From its first sighting at the power plant to its battle alongside Lugia in The Power of One, Zapdos has always represented the middle ground between extremes, the energy that keeps life in motion. Its power never lingers in stillness. It moves from region to region, from storm to storm, finding purpose wherever the skies have grown quiet. In its flight, there is no boundary, no beginning, and no end. Even in modern stories, Zapdos remains as relevant as ever. Its reappearances and journeys in the new form seen in Galar prove that the legend still evolves, adapting to each new age. Yet no matter how it looks, it carries the same message: that true power is not control but continuity. It is the ability to endure, to move forward, to find light even within the storm. Artists across the generations have captured that idea in countless ways. Paintings of Zapdos streaking across lightning-split skies, carvings showing its wings breaking through cloud and wind, and digital renderings that transform its shape into pure energy. Each one, no matter how different, reflects the same truth. Zapdos is not a creature that belongs to one moment. It is the moment itself, the instant of lightning, the sound of thunder, the spark of life reawakening. If Articuno is the calm of winter and Moltres the warmth of spring, then Zapdos is the heartbeat between them, the pulse that drives all change. It reminds the world that motion is not chaos, but necessity. Stillness freezes, heat fades, but thunder continues. The rhythm never stops. And so the legend endures. Somewhere beyond the clouds, the sky flashes gold for an instant. The sound of thunder follows, rolling softly across the horizon. A storm passes, the air clears, and the world feels alive again. That is the gift of Zapdos, the eternal storm that restores the balance of nature and the courage of the heart. Its wings fade into the distance, and silence returns. Yet even in that silence, a faint hum of energy remains, the memory of movement, the promise of renewal, and the quiet truth that lightning never truly leaves the sky.